Varnika, thanks for joining us live. Ms. Kiran Kher there was also sending out a message to you. I thank you for joining me live at this point. The cops are saying that just because you did not mention the word kidnap or abduct in your statement to the magistrate, they believe that the act committed against you was not heinous enough to put these boys, these brats behind bars.
Okay, see, like, I can't comment on what the police says, but my FIR clearly states that it was clear to me that this was an attempt to abduct me. And as far as the magistrate's statement is concerned, I have given my truthful version of the events exactly as they happened. I mean, it's pretty much a minute-by-minute detailed account of everything that happened from the first time I saw this car to when they were, apprehended by the cops. So after that, the cops, so far as I have dealt with them, have done their job amazingly well. They have extended their support. They have done everything they could to help me whenever I needed the help. So I'm going to continue to have faith in the system and in the cops, and continue to hope that this case will reach the logical conclusion.
Well, we are also hoping that, Varnika, and the reason why we are also saying that we'll continue to keep asking questions of the cops is so that they don't succumb to any kind of pressure. Because when you say that somebody tried, can you I'm sorry I have to ask you to do this, but I'd like you to tell me that if somebody tries to knock on the door of your car, chases you down for about 5-6 kilometers, and then tries to open the door, and then the cops say this is just stalking, how would you respond to that?
See, I mean, no, this comes down to connotation, right? Like, it's not like they're like, it's just stalking. They're using the legal section, and there are legal sections, and there's all of that terminology and all of that language which I have no idea about. So I can really not presume to tell the cops what to do and how to do it. Like I said, as far as I saw, they did the job really well when I was around. So I'm going to continue to trust that even when I'm not around them, they will still do it as well as they did. And that's all I can do, right? My job is to fight what those guys did. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do.
No, I just want you to tell me what did they do? Do you think what they did was just stalking?
No, what I have made it extremely clear that their entire aim from the first second till the last was just to get my car to stop. And I see no other logical conclusion for them wanting to get my car to stop.
Did you know?
And it's not like they asked me, Yeah, go
ahead, please. Sorry? Please complete.
No, I mean, the entire time they were next to my car. They were not following me. They were parallel. They were terrorizing me. It was a feeling that I have never felt before. I cannot even, I'm not even sure I can put it into words. And they were terrorizing me. They kept trying to hit my car, kept swerving towards my car. This is not the behavior of anyone except someone who clearly wants me to stop the car and either get in. We know that because they tried to open the door. Either get in or pull me out.
When did you realize that there was somebody who was tailing you? Did they? This happened little later.
It didn't, like. Yeah, and it wasn't that they tailed me. I mean, I just saw lights in my rearview mirror. And it was a little fast, so I moved to the side to, let the car go. Except when they pulled up next to me, instead of moving on, they just stayed there. And then I turned right, and they turned right with me. And it was like maybe 5 seconds after I had first seen the car that they first swerved towards my car, either to hit it and make me stop, or to block me, or to, if nothing else, scare me into such a panic that I freeze.
And I have to commend you for not freezing. I have to commend you for showing your presence of mind. But instinctively, did you turn and look at them? Were they trying to make gestures to you? Did you see how many people were there inside the car?
See, the first time they swerved, of course, I looked. I only saw the front because, after they did that, it's not like they stopped. After that, it was a constant effort to, you know, do something, maneuver left, maneuver right, but they were constantly just, you know, messing around with my car. And I saw that there were two guys. I didn't know if there were more because I couldn't look in the back seat. And it was an SUV, so there could have been 7, 8 for all I knew. I think I was also lucky that it was just two.
Who was the guy who jumped out of the car and tried to rush you?
I don't know who he is, but I know that Vikas Barala was the guy driving the car. And his friend was the one who got out of the car twice.
And what was he trying to say? Was he saying anything to you, or did he just attempt to smash the windows and get into the car or drag you out? What did he try and do? Did he say anything to you?
I don't know. I don't know if they said anything because, you know, my windows were shut, my doors were locked, and I was paying as little attention to them as possible. And my only focus was to get away from there and, you know, get to a safe place. But they did make gestures, but their only gestures were again to just ask me to stop. Like, you know, just showing me his hand and being like, you know, just stop, just like stop for a minute. And that was it, which is why I say that everything they did was aimed towards getting me to stop.
And when that moment happened where you've clearly explained in your FIR that you were stuck at a signal after jumping 1 or 2 signals, you were stuck because there were other vehicles. You decided to pull back, reverse, and then drive away. What were you thinking at that point?
No, I wasn't, sorry.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't stuck because there were other vehicles. I mean, if I was stuck because right at that light, while there were other vehicles there, there were other people there, these guys came and blocked my car. They blocked the road in front of my car, so I couldn't move ahead, which was I had to reverse. This was when, you know, the guy jumped out of the car and came and banged on the window, tried to open the door. And I think a few seconds after that is when the cops came and caught them. This is there. So, I mean, of course, I had already jumped a few red lights because, you know, the moment I could not afford to stop. I would stop and these guys would, like, this guy had his door, you know, almost half open a lot of times, probably waiting for an opportunity where I would stop the car and he could maybe jump out. The guy sitting next to the driver. But, yeah, so I would have also jumped that red light if they hadn't blocked me.
Has this ever happened to you in Chandigarh? Ever happened to you?
Something like this?
Yes.
No, I mean, there are minor cases that, like I've been saying, every woman that I know and I have met, especially in the last 3 days, every single woman has a story. Everyone, you ask any woman around you, she will tell you a story. So, I mean, of course, things like this have happened before. Never to this extent. I mean, this was literally terrorism. This wasn't just eve teasing or harassment. This wasn't teasing. They weren't teasing me. And, you know, I know what I felt, but nothing to this extent, which is why I think everyone is also so shocked, because in a place like Chandigarh, if they can be this brazen, then what hope is there?
True, I understand your sentiment. And are you glad that your dad stood up with you and he also gave you the courage to speak out? Because a lot of times people don't want to talk about it because they're scared.
But that's the thing, right? What do I have to be scared of? I'm not going to say I'm the victim, but I am the one that the offense was committed against. So why should I be afraid? This is exactly, I mean, I've been saying it over and over, but I'm going to say it again. This is what men like these count on me being afraid. They think that it is okay for them to do whatever they want, and then they'll get away with it because I'm afraid, which is exactly what I need to fight. Because why should I be afraid? What have I done? Why should I have to hide my face? You are the one who should be hiding your face.
Absolutely. I so agree with you there. I so agree with you there. And that's why I want to know, you said that the cops have helped you, and I hope they continue to help you. But what do you think should be done with brats like these? If it were left to you, how would you punish them?
Well, I mean, I can't think of like an exact method at the moment, but I would make sure it was something that taught them and everyone else who even dares to think like them that this is not something you can or should do. And it's not something that even if you do, you can even imagine that you would get away with. I want to drive this fear into their heads. They are the ones who need this fear now. I am done with fear, and I think women of this country should be done with fear. They are the ones who need to be afraid now, because you cannot do things like this and expect to, you know, go home, go to sleep, wake up the next morning, have breakfast, live your life as it is. You cannot. You have just tried to ruin my life. I was lucky that you couldn't. But what if you had? I live to tell the tale. But yes. What if I hadn't?
Yes, and I myself am shivering. I'm getting here goosebumps thinking about that when you say that. And I'm being very honest with you right now, Varnika, because we just spoke to the Vice President of the BJP, State BJP, the Ramveer Bhati. He made a statement saying, what was she doing out so late in the night? Why were girls out so late in the night?
Did he ask that guy that? What did I do? Did I harass someone? Did I do something to anyone else? I was in my car, minding my own business, going to my house. Those guys come and harass me, and then these people have the audacity to ask me what I was doing. What were those guys doing? And secondly, who are you to ask me what I was doing? Why should I answer to a random stranger? It's between me and my family, what I do, where I go, what time I do it. Whether it's 3 a.m. or 3 p.m., it's nobody else's business. And I wish more women also started thinking like this.
I agree with you. Have you had a lot of people?
Where I go and what I do. Yeah.
Yes. Have you had a lot of people coming out and supporting you, saying that you're doing the right thing by speaking out?
Of course. I mean, a lot of people is an understatement. I think, I mean, I can like feel the support of, I think, pretty much the entire country behind me.
Yes.
It's been overwhelming. I mean, I haven't had time to, of course, look at all the messages and everything yet, but I can feel it, you know, and I read the things, and it's unimaginable. I would never have thought that this would come to this. But I'm so glad to have the support, and I think this support that I'm getting is a huge reason that I can still continue this fight.
And I think that's because the country understands, people understand what you have faced, what you have endured. There are so many fathers who have reached out saying that this happens to our daughters, we'll not spare the guy. Did the boy's father reach out to you, Varnika?
No.
To you?
I have had no contact from anyone. We have had no contact from anyone.
You haven't had. Now, I'm just trying to understand, you're living in a state and in an area where the entire Beti Bachao whole movement happened, saying that we have to help the girl child. They came out and tried and celebrated all the achievers from Haryana. And then you have an incident like this. What does that make you think as an individual?
I mean, I hate to say this, but I'm not really surprised because of, because it's not like this is an isolated incident. These incidents, especially over the last few years, maybe it's that we hear about it more because it's prevalent, but either way, it's an ingrained fear in all Indian women and women's families now that at any given point of time, something like this could happen. And Chandigarh was that one safe space for us where we honestly thought that it's a safe place. Something like this, to this extent, nobody could ever have imagined. So I'm not surprised that this happened, but I think that is the problem. I'm not surprised. We should be surprised.
Time and again, when these incidences have happened across the country, we've had debates, and we have made a radical suggestion to those people who actually say, what were the girls doing out so late? Should they turn around and ask the boys what are they doing out so late? Should there be a curfew on men and see how many incidences happen, how many women are then tormented, how many instances are happen. Is there, you would sometimes turn around and say, why can't they sell these boys something? Why can't they give them a piece of advice? Why is it all directed to us all the time?
Of course, I'm saying that right now. Like, they are the ones who commit the crime, and I am the one who has to answer questions. Why? And you know, like I also said this before, if men like these guys didn't exist, these guys who tried to do this with me, do you think it would be unsafe for me to go out at night? It's not. It's because of these guys that it's unsafe. And I mean, what is that guy trying to say? You know, the guy who made the statement asking me what was I doing out, it was unsafe. Why is it unsafe? Do men lose like control over their urges the moment the sun goes down? Do they turn into werewolves or like animals and suddenly it's unsafe for a woman? I can be around men at 3 p.m. but suddenly at 3 a.m. because the sun is out, the sun is down, it becomes unsafe. What sort of a logic is that?
Yeah, I've never been able to get around that logic, but that's what seems to exist. Do you think that's what needs to change? Do you think that needs to change? How do you think
it's part of it? I don't think. Again, you know, I mean, it's not easy to change the way someone else thinks. But I think what women can start doing is to get proactive about themselves. We need to be responsible for ourselves. I just keep repeating the same things, but I think they need to be repeated. If women keep depending on men to protect them, then men have the power to also not protect them. Men also have the power to endanger them. If we keep believing we are the weaker sex, then we will be the weaker sex. So we need to make ourselves not the weaker sex. We talk about equal rights and feminism. This is equal rights. We have to be responsible for ourselves. Men don't, our brothers don't ask us to go with them when they go out at night. But we have to. Why? Why do we have to? Why can we not empower ourselves and learn, I don't know, learn self-defense, get a weapon, whatever. I mean, there are n number of methods.
Fantastic.
But we are the ones who have to change that attitude, yeah.
No, I really agree with you. And they messed with the wrong person. They shouldn't have messed with anybody, but they messed with the wrong person is the sense that I get right now, Varnika, because when I hear you, I just feel that I'm so glad that you spoke out. We are so glad, India is so glad you spoke out, because such brats need to be exposed. And that's why I ask you that when you got them, when you saw them being apprehended, caught, the police did so much of work, they put him behind bars, and then after some time they said, okay, we're going to let you go. Did that hurt you somewhere? Did you feel कि इनको इतनी जल्दी क्यों छोड़ दिया?
To be honest, you know, I have just, since this happened and since the media caught on to the incident, my entire focus has just been on fighting my fight. What the cops do and how they handle it, I have left up to them. Because I cannot presume to tell them how to do their job. I can just do what I have to do, and my fight is this.
Yes. And you know, my last question to you is that when you go to a cop and when you went to the station and you narrated, I've read the FIR copy in detail. You narrated sequence by sequence and you explained to them what you felt. You think it's your responsibility to tell them what sections apply, or is it their responsibility to tell you, listen, this guy did not even just stalk you, he intended to harm you, he intended to abduct you, so I think these are the sections that should apply and this is how we should charge him. You think that's the responsibility of the cops? That's what they should be doing to protect?
Of course. The sections and the charges, only the cops know, right? I don't know how it works. So it is entirely their responsibility to decide what the right sections are.
You feel they have put
I don't know.
You feel they have applied the right sections?
Again, I cannot comment on that. I cannot comment on that because I don't know about the law and all of these things.
I know that. I'm just asking you as a person, not passing any judgment on anybody. I'm just asking you. I know you trust them. I endorse that. And I think you should hold that trust. But I just feel, what do you think? You think they've applied all the sections or they can do a little more?
I think it's too early to tell.
I understand. I understand what you're, why you're holding yourself back as far as that's concerned. I hope the trust and the confidence that you continue to show on the cops, they respond in an equal measure, because it has to work on their conscience. I just hope you're also hoping that. Do you, Varnika? My final question to you.
Definitely. Yeah. Sorry, can you just repeat the question, please?
No, I'm saying you're expecting your cop, you've put your trust on the cops. And I'm asking you, you still believe in your heart they will do justice to you? Or are you just hoping they do?
Of course. If everyone in the system does the job, does their job the way they're supposed to, there is no way these guys can escape. They don't have a chance in hell.
True. Varnika, I thank you very much. I thank you for talking. I thank you for speaking out. And I assure you that we will follow this story.